When people think about success, they usually picture something big. A massive investment paying off, a six-figure raise, hitting millionaire status, retiring at 40. Big, flashy moments that feel life-changing. But here's the truth. Those massive wins are rare. They're outliers. Most of the people who actually reach those kinds of milestones don't do it through one big moment. They get there by stacking dozens, if not hundreds, of small wins over time. In many cases, they go unnoticed. But the reality is that if you don't realize the power of these seemingly small achievements, you'll never get ahead. Think about this. $1 million is just $1,000 1,000 times. That sounds huge, but broken down, it's something a lot more approachable. You don't need to invent an app, buy 20 rental properties, or win the lottery. You just need to save, earn, or avoid spending $1,000 enough times. Let's make that real. Maybe you chose a less expensive spot to live and it saves you $250 a month compared to the trendier apartment across town. That's $3,000 a year. Or you resisted the urge to buy a new $45,000 SUV and kept your reliable, paid-off car for a couple more years. That's $700 a month in payments you didn't sign up for. That's over $8,000 a year you're not spending. You'll still need to maintain the old car, but you'll also be saving a bundle on insurance and other costs. Those aren't lottery wins, but they're still significant. Stack several of those choices over the years, and suddenly you're thousands of dollars ahead of where you might have been otherwise. Now let's say you picked up a small side hustle, picked up extra shifts at work, or worked overtime and made an extra $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 in 1 year, or 1.2% of $1 million. One small change in just 1 year and over 1%. Maybe all you did was get a better insurance rate or utility bill, knocking off another $100 a month. Those small moves all add up. Now let's say you actually do start saving $1,000 a month, just by making a few better choices with housing, transportation, eating out less, or taking on a small side hustle. You don't need to find the next Bitcoin. You can just put that $1,000 into a simple S&P 500 ETF. Historically, with inflation factored in, that's returned about 7% per year. If you just do $1,000 a month for 30 years, you're not sitting on a small chunk of money. You're sitting on over $1.2 million. Not from a business empire or massive inheritance, just from a series of smart, consistent moves that seem pointless at the time, repeated every month. And it's not just about investing. This applies to everything. Take debt, for example. Student loans can feel overwhelming, especially when the balance barely moves. You might think, what's the point of sending an extra $25? But $25 a month is $300 in 1 year. Over 5 years, that's $1,500 you chipped away at. More importantly, you're knocking off future interest. You're speeding up your timeline. One of the worst things about debt is how long it drags out, so any little move that shortens it matters. It's not impressive. No one's clapping for you because you paid $25 extra, but those are the habits that matter. You don't have to give up everything fun to be smart with money. Sometimes a small win is choosing the $12 bottle of wine instead of the $24 one. Not to be cheap, but because you're starting to pay attention. Or maybe it's picking a local weekend activity instead of an expensive trip out of town, so you still get to relax without breaking the bank. Or it could be spending a night in with friends instead of going out to the bar. Still enjoying good food and company, but saving money at the same time. There's no instant reward for these choices, but your future self will definitely thank you. Buying a house that's within your means is a small win that compounds. A less expensive home might mean you don't get everything you want on day one, but you're not stretched thin. You have money left over to furnish it without debt, saving thousands, to fix things that break, and to actually enjoy your life inside of it, not just work to afford it. It doesn't feel impressive on paper, but 5 years later, you're going to be happy you made those seemingly inconsequential moves. When you save $1,000 for the beginning of your emergency fund, you're 0.1% of the way to becoming a millionaire from that single accomplishment. Now, that doesn't sound like much. Most people would just laugh that off. But that's just one single thing you did that got you 0.1% of the way there. When you're making a series of these choices at one time, they really are more significant than they seem alone. The problem is, we're trained to ignore these small wins. Social media shows us the highlights. Someone bought a beautiful new house. Someone retired at 35. Someone made $2 million flipping a business. And it makes you feel like your small raise, your $200 contribution to your IRA, or your ability to cover all your bills this month is nothing. But that's wrong. Those things matter. They're how the big achievements actually happen. Because people who hit those big goals didn't just leap there, they climbed, slowly, step by step. Now, what separates those who become wealthy from those who don't is that the people who do become wealthy truly recognize this simple truth. They understand that wealth doesn't just fall into their laps overnight. And they're not waiting to magically land on a $1 million pile of cash. Instead, they appreciate the power of these small achievements, those everyday, consistent choices that might seem minor in the moment, but over time build up to something much bigger. They're the ones saying yes to the overtime, bringing their lunch to work most days instead of the opposite, and going the extra mile. They see the value in steady progress and know that real success is a marathon, not a sprint. The people who brush off these small steps as no big deal are usually the ones stuck in the same spot financially 20 years later. So if you're not where you want to be yet, don't get discouraged. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you have to make some huge move tomorrow. Instead, look at the little victories in front of you right now. Are you paying your bills on time? Are you keeping your credit card balance at zero or working it down? Did you say no to a purchase you knew you couldn't comfortably afford? Did you say no to a purchase you could comfortably afford but don't need? Do you have even $1,000 saved in case of an emergency? Did you resist buying an expensive car even though you could technically afford the payment? That's a win that could save you tens of thousands of dollars over the next few years. Another win? Resisting lifestyle creep. That's the silent killer of financial progress. You get a raise and suddenly your new paycheck disappears just as fast as the old one did. But if you got a raise and kept your expenses the same and banked the difference, that's a massive step forward. And no one's going to pat you on the back for it, but that's exactly what moves the needle. These things matter a lot, not just for your bank account, but for building strong financial habits that last. Small wins create momentum. They build discipline. They stack up quietly. And before you know it, those small moves you almost didn't bother with, they turn into something big. $1 million doesn't just fall from the sky, it gets built $1,000 at a time. Freedom doesn't happen overnight. It happens $25 at a time. One less impulse purchase at a time, one better choice at a time. Here's another angle, mindset. Small wins aren't just about numbers. They're about changing how you see yourself. Every time you save a bit instead of spending, you're sending yourself a message. I'm in control. I can handle this. I'm making progress. When you avoid that purchase or do one extra hour of work, you're strengthening your belief that you can do this. It's hard to overstate how important that is. Confidence doesn't come from giant leaps. It grows from repeated small wins. You might not feel successful right now, and that's totally normal. Success doesn't usually hit you all at once. A lot of people assume they'll finally feel successful when they hit a certain milestone. Making six figures, hitting $1 million net worth, buying a house. But those moments don't magically flip a switch. What really builds that feeling is a steady string of small wins. Things you only notice if you're actually paying attention. It's that slow, quiet buildup that eventually shifts how your life looks and how you see yourself. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, focus on just one thing. Don't overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Pick one habit you can do this week. Setting aside $50 in savings or retirement, reading a few pages of a book, staying an hour late at work, or calling your insurance to shop for a better rate. Keep adding those small wins, because the big moments, they're made possible by the small ones you keep stacking day after day.